I was getting a kick out of a New York Times article today. They were just sort of like trying to deal with this, trying to cope with this. And they were like, this is such an outlier. We just don't understand it, blah, blah, blah. But it's important to try and take a look at it. This is a Washington Post, ABC News poll, which puts Donald Trump very much in the running. In fact, he's doing better than Joe Biden right now. Ron DeSantis is doing better than Joe Biden now. In fact, probably pretty much anyone on planet Earth is doing better than Joe Biden right now, because we've got a mess on our hands.
Scott here, and this is bad, real bad.
We've got 4.9% inflation. That's how much it's up from last year. Don't forget, it was already up last year over the year before, right? So like this inflation, it's really, really catching up with us. And people have kind of had it. They're looking at what's going on in Ukraine. It's like this never-ending thing, regardless of how you feel about it. The reality is we're spending a lot of money. Look at Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, we were there 20 years, and we spent basically nearly the same amount that we've spent in the last year and a couple months in Ukraine. So it's very costly, and people are like, what is going on? Like, why is it taking this long? So you get the Ukraine situation, and let's make sure that we don't forget what's going on at the border as we speak. Have you seen the video, the footage? It's incredible. All the people lined up trying to come here. This is a messed up situation. And yet, Joe Biden seems completely oblivious to it. I don't think he can handle this. I don't think anyone's really in charge. And instead, we hear him saying things like this. Listen.
I signed the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act, the largest investments in climate, environmental justice, and conservation ever, anywhere, period.
Can we play it again, Sam? Try that again, right? Play it again, Sam.
I signed the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act, the largest investments in climate, environmental justice, and conservation ever, anywhere, period.
What do you think? So he wants us to know that he's responsible for the Inflation Reduction Act. Listen, I would not, I'm just saying, like if I were you, buddy, I would not be touting the Inflation Reduction Act when we are still dealing with massive inflation. Like that was not a win. Your Inflation Reduction Act was all about spending more money to do what? Oh, create more inflation, because that's how it works. If you ever in your life took an Econ 101 class, which I am pretty sure, Joe Biden, you did not, you would know that. You would. Anyway, Inflation Reduction Act. And of course, he's working on social governance and climate change and all these things, except he's not working on programs to help the American people, right? That's the reality of it. Instead, you got situations like the one we see unfolding at the border right now. You've got situations where people are saying, what is the cost of eggs? Oh my gosh, $8 in my neighborhood, $8 for a dozen eggs. Granted, they're organic, but this is at like it's a Stop and Shop, like grocery chain store. It's not like a fancy schmancy place where you're getting blue hen eggs or anything. This is regular old Stop and Shop, $8.19 a dozen. I mean, this is insane, totally insane. And Joe Biden wants us to know that, he's working on all these things. So this is why you have a poll coming out showing that the president is really faltering with average Americans. And interestingly, he's hurt most among the minority population and also among youth. Now, these are the populations that we all thought he was really trying to, bring in. I guess all the gender fluidity stuff, it's not really playing with this crowd the way you might think. There's another poll actually out today. They're showing that, Main Street America is not on board with the whole gender dysphoria thing. Like they're losing America right now. They're losing it, and they don't seem to understand it. They don't seem to grasp